And there came a time known as the third millennium, a time when the people of the earth were ravaged by disease, pestilence, and poisons. A time when the horsemen of the apocalypse ran the multinational corporations. A time when America's citizens were waking up to a future of no money and no jobs. A time when a special man came forward, a man that your American taskmasters did not want you to see or hear, a man whom they took prisoner and hid away, a man whose name is Yahweh ben Yahweh. For telling people the truth, Yahweh ben Yahweh was taken prisoner by the minions of darkness. For giving people hope, Yahweh ben Yahweh was led away to Golgotha. This is the continuing story of the past and of the future, about good and about evil, about your life and what it will become. A story that tells why the so-called black man of America had to suffer for over 400 years. A story of what will happen to the so-called black man if he returns to the laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments of God, Yahweh. Olam shall Yahweh. The universe of Yahweh. Brought to you by the nation of Yahweh. Working for you and your future.
Good or evil, life or death. This is your choice in this, the year 6002, the year of judgment. Shalom and welcome to the universe of Yahweh. My name is Josiah Israel, and I am your host. For over 7 years now, we have been discussing some of the things the Bible said would occur in the day of judgment. We warned you that the weather was going to change, and that the powerful forces of nature were going to bring terrible destruction upon America and the world, and that it was going to get worse and worse and worse, and it has. We alerted you that violence in the public schools was going to increase, and it has. We showed you in the scriptures that forewarned of wickedness in high places, and we are witnessing today gross misconduct and serious crimes being committed by some of our highest elected officials. What lies ahead for America and the world is nothing less than the proliferation of deadly diseases and plagues as foretold in the Bible. But there is hope. The Bible tells us that at the end, the Messiah would be revealed, and at that time he would save the righteous from this impending destruction. That one, the Messiah, is Yahweh ben Yahweh. So we invite you to join us in the universe of Yahweh, featuring the commandments of Yahweh and the Messiah revealed. First, the commandments of Yahweh.
For 6,000 years, we have been suffering at the hands of rulers who transgress the laws of Yahweh and teach all people throughout the earth to transgress the laws of Yahweh. In order to have peace, love, and harmony upon the earth, we must return to keeping the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes of Yahweh. All of us have been taught that the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes in the Old Testament Bible do not count today. In this series, we will show you that the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes in the Old Testament Bible do count, and that if we govern our lives according to these commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes of God Yud-Heh-Wav-Heh, then we will have peace and goodwill upon the earth forever. We invite you to study along with us. However, in order to do so, you must have the following tools: a King James Version of the Bible, several dictionaries, the New Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, a set of encyclopedias, Hebrew and Greek lexicons, a thesaurus, and a synonym finder.
Shalom, my name is Ben Kyle Bethel Yisrael. We are discussing the commandments of Yahweh. Many people believe that the first commandments were given to Moses. But the fact is, the first two commandments ever given to man were given to Adam, which were to dress and to keep the Garden of Eden. We are now discussing the second commandment, which was to keep the Garden of Eden. In order to make a smooth transition from what we discussed last week, let us do a recap. We told you that keep in Hebrew is shamar, and another one of its meanings is watch. From the word watch, we began to compare the charge that Yahweh gave to Adam with the charge that Yahweh gave to the child that is to be born. In researching the word watch, we read Genesis chapter 1, verse 28, and learned that Yahweh charged Adam with the responsibility of subduing the earth and having dominion over it. Our definition of the word subdue supported the fact that to watch the Garden of Eden, Yahweh charged Adam with bringing all people on the earth under control by executing the laws by which the government of Yahweh would be ruled. From the information we gathered from the definition of dominion, we asserted that Yahweh gave Adam the authority to not only decipher the laws of Yahweh, but to also practice and administer them all over the earth. We reminded you of the fact that Adam transgressed the commandment of Yahweh and was sent forth from the Garden of Eden, which caused Adam to suffer a spiritual death. We showed you in Romans chapter 5, verse 14, that death reigned from Adam to Moses, and even over them that had not sinned, after the similitude of Adam's transgression, who is the figure of him that was to come. Now today, we will compare the specific charge that Yahweh gave to the child that was to be born, which is the child that Yahweh commanded Adam to teach his descendants to be on watch for. Now, let us open our Bibles to Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, and learn something about this child. And it reads, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." The pronoun us is used twice in this scripture. We will identify who us is a little later. However, let us continue to learn more about this child that is to be born unto us. For unto us a child is born. What does this mean? According to the Cassell Concise Dictionary, copyright 1998, on page 250, child is defined as the inhabitants of a country. On page 166, born means brought forth, having certain characteristics from birth. On page 144, birth means creation. Thus, unto the inhabitants of a country are brought forth a people having certain characteristics from creation. Unto this people a son is given. Documented in the Cassell Concise Dictionary on page 1406, son is defined as a male descendant. According to the Synonym Finder by J.I. Rodale, on page 459, the word given is equivalent to preordain. The prefix pre means beforehand. On page 1020 of the Cassell Concise Dictionary, ordain means to be set apart for an office or duty. Therefore, unto this people, the inhabitants of a country having certain characteristics from creation, a male descendant was set apart beforehand for a particular office or duty. Let us read again Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6, and learn about the office or duty this man-child is set apart for. And it reads in part, "And the government shall be upon his shoulder." The office or duty of this child is that the establishment of the government of Yahweh shall be upon his shoulder. Let us get an understanding of what this really means. Documented in the Cassell Concise Dictionary on page 638, government is defined as the territory under a governor, a province. On page 639, governor means a person who governs, especially someone invested with authority to execute laws and administer the affairs of a province, etc. On page 1172, province means a large administrative division of a kingdom. On page 807, kingdom means the spiritual reign of God. We see here that the office or duty of this man-child is to execute the laws of Yahweh and to administer the affairs of the administrative division of or during the spiritual reign of Yahweh. On the whole, we can conclude that to watch the Garden of Eden means that Yahweh commanded Adam to teach us, his people, the inhabitants of a country, having certain characteristics from creation, that a male descendant was set apart beforehand to execute the laws of Yahweh and to administer the affairs of the administrative division of or during the spiritual reign of Yahweh. In comparing the overall commonality between Adam and the one that was to be born, we can determine from the facts presented that Yahweh charged both with executing the laws of the government of Yahweh. Next week, we shall continue our discussion of the word watch and its relationship to keep, as we shed more light on the second direct commandment that Yahweh gave to man, Adam, in the Garden of Eden, which was to keep it. I bear witness to you today that the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, is here.
I bear witness to you today that the Mahdi is here.
I bear witness to you today that Shiloh is here.
I bear witness to you today that the great light is here.
I bear witness to you today that the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, Architect of the universe, is here.
I bear witness to you today that the Enlightened One is here.
I bear witness to you today that the one all religions has been speaking of for over 6,000 years is here.
Thank you for listening, and join us next week as we continue our discussion of the commandments of Yahweh.
Shalom. Welcome to Exodus, Release Our God to Us. It was prophesied that when the Son of Man appears, there would be wars and rumors of wars, pestilence and disease, a time of great and terrible natural disasters. This is Judgment Day, and Yahweh is plaguing and judging this world. His divine judgment is more relentless in America because this country is holding his son, Yahweh Beit Nun Sofit Yahweh, captive for crimes he did not commit and refuses to let him go. True judgment involves both discernment and action, and the two are inseparable. In judgment, a distinction is made between what is right and what is wrong. Then, based on the findings, action is taken. The purpose of that action is to reprove or punish the person who is wrong and to vindicate the person who is right. America is suffering one awesome disaster after another. Some may say we have always had disasters, but today they are occurring more frequently and with greater intensity. The destruction is costing America tens of billions of dollars, weakening the spirit and the economy of this country. We hear over and over from the president that the economy is getting better than it ever has been. But why are people still losing their jobs? Why are we living from paycheck to paycheck? Jobs in America are closing down every day. Hundreds of factories have closed. Major plants are shutting down and moving offshore, taking thousands of jobs with them. In the first 5 months of 1996, American businesses cut 230,000 jobs. That's the fastest rate ever. Let us read Isaiah chapter 19, verse 15. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Is it possible to end the unemployment problem in America? Of course it is. And Yahweh Beit Nun Sofit Yahweh holds the key to how. However, until the release of Yahweh Beit Nun Sofit Yahweh, we will see more layoffs and more downsizing. And the present course of worldwide natural disasters shall continue to get worse and worse and worse. Shalom, and we'll see you next week on Exodus, Release Our God to Us.
Is worthy? Who is worthy to open the book? Who is worthy to open the book and loose the seals thereof?
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. At the end of time of evil rule, the Anointed One, the Messiah, shall appear. In 1979, Yahweh Ben Yahweh came to Miami and became the spiritual leader and founder of the Nation of Yahweh. Although he took a vow of poverty, in 7 years he guided the nation to amass a $250 million empire. Under his direction, the Nation of Yahweh has grown to encompass disciples, followers, and supporters in over 1,300 cities within the U.S. and 16 foreign countries. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is bringing about changes in the lives of individuals and is giving the world the keys to success in life, politically, economically, educationally, socially, and spiritually.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh is shaking the heavens and the earth, and he is overthrowing the throne of kingdoms, and he is destroying the strength of kingdoms of the heathen. And he is overthrowing not only the chariots, but also those that ride in the chariots. And the horses and their riders are coming down, every one by the sword of his brother. Haggai chapter 2, verses 21 and 22. Yahweh Ben Yahweh has come preaching peace to the world, as written in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 17. Yahweh Ben Yahweh shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Highest, Yahweh. And Yahweh shall give unto him the throne of his father David, and he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever. And of his kingdom there shall be no end, according to Luke chapter 1, verses 32 and 33. We must understand the verse that says, I and my Father are one. John chapter 10, verse 30. This solves the problem for us who are waiting for the special figure of the ultimate King, the Messiah, assuming his proper place alongside the hope for the unlimited dominion of Yahweh. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when Yahweh Ben Yahweh of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 23. Behold, the day of Yahweh Ben Yahweh has come, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And he is destroying those who are breaking the commandments, judgments, laws, and statutes of Yahweh. For Yahweh Ben Yahweh is causing the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof to not give their light, the sun to be darkened in his going forth, and the moon to not cause her light to shine. And Yahweh Ben Yahweh is punishing the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And he is causing the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and he is laying low the haughtiness of the terrible. Isaiah chapter 13, verses 9 through 11. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here on the earth today to cause violence to be heard no more in our land, wasting nor destruction within our borders. He is also here to cause us to be able to call our walls salvation and our gates praise, where the sun is no more our light by day, neither for brightness is the moon giving light unto us. But Yahweh Ben Yahweh is unto us an everlasting light, and our God, and our glory. Isaiah chapter 60, verses 18 and 19.
Remember that this is the morning of the third day, and I shall rise again. I am the resurrection. All of prophecy tells you that I shall rise again. It's all about that. Luke chapter 2, verse 34. No doubt about it. Again, I love you forever, bless you forever. I remind you once again, my associates are children of the light. That just brings laughter to my heart, to my soul, to realize that at last I have those of you that love peace. And I only want to be in the presence of those of you that love peace I love you forever. Shalom Aleichem.
Behold, the ultimate King, the Messiah, Yahweh ben Yahweh, has come. And he is preaching peace to the whole world. But he has also come to punish the wicked for breaking the laws of Yahweh. Yahweh ben Yahweh shall be called the Son of the Highest. And of his kingdom, the throne of his father David, there shall be no end. The sun will no longer be our light of day, for Yahweh ben Yahweh is unto us an everlasting light. Thank you for joining us in the universe of Yahweh. And now we'd like to invite all of you to pray with us as we turn to the east with outstretched hands and say a prayer to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Come, let us pray. Tefillah, Ave Nu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikar Deshemeaka, Tavo Ma'kuteaka, Yase Razonka, Kiva Shemayim Kain Ba'aretz, Et Lekum Kukenu, Tain La Nu Hayom, Uslak La Nu, All Kati Enu, Ki Moshe Sol Kim, Gamanaknu, La Koteom La Nu, Veal Tefienu, La De Nisayom, Kim Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tiferet, Leolame, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. Selah. Praise Yahweh, and always remember that the Father Yahweh and his Son Yahweh ben Yahweh love you, and your host loves you too. Shalom Aleichem.
To order the companion book to the series, The Messiah Revealed, call 1-800-967-PEACE. That's 1-800-967-7337. And when you call, ask about the special discount on The Persecution of Yahweh ben Yahweh, Volume 1. Videos of this program are available. When ordering, please refer to the program number on the screen.
You can now access the divine mind of Yahweh ben Yahweh on the internet at the address on the screen.